Hey everyone, my name is Jason from GameRave.com, and this is Pause Mode. The year is 1992, and Capcom Street Fighter II has been out for about a year. Its popularity skyrocketing, it was clear fighting games were here to stay. One developer, SNK, had already released their first fighting game, Fatal Fury, on their new arcade hardware, the Neo-Geo MVS. Looking to expand the series, but from a different angle, SNK decided to do something pretty incredible for the time. Their new game would take place in the same fictional world and city as Fatal Fury, but happen years earlier, essentially taking the first steps into a unified universe, much like Marvel's cinematic universe today. That game would come to America as Art of Fighting. Your basic single-player setup involves martial arts masters Ryo and his friend Robert. Turns out Ryo's sister Yuri has been kidnapped, and with their father nowhere to be found, the friends head off into the city of Southtown to find her. Both characters essentially play the same, with your then standard uppercut, fireball, spinning kick, and 100 ligament wave all on display. While you were only allowed the option to play our two heroes in single player mode, Versus mode allowed you to use all 8 of the mainline characters. Art of Fighting may not look it by today's standards, but it did introduce 3 of the most commonly used features in modern day fighting games. The first is the use of a power gauge. With Art of Fighting, every special move you did, for example throwing a fireball, would require a certain percentage of the power gauge. As the bar dwindled, your abilities would not only lose strength, but also become almost useless and non-existent. Rapidly pressing the A button, or holding down A, B, and C, would allow the character to regain their power. This added a bit of strategy to the gameplay, as it prevented the player from simply spamming the special moves repeatedly. Using the taunt button allowed you to drain your opponent's bar instead, which could quickly devolve into a game of cat and mouse taunting. The standard moveset is essentially 2 buttons with punch and kick, and then a variety button. The latter, located at button C, released a different attack based on the context of when it was being used. Jumping over an opponent provided a backwards cross-up, pressing it right after a punch or kick allowed a stronger version of the chosen move, and so on. The second new item introduced is that of the Desperation move, or Super Art for you Street Fighter folk. Hidden among the game's 3 bonus stages was the chance to learn the Super Death Blow! By performing the half-circle motion 6 times, you unlocked a huge fireball that drained your power gauge completely. If it connected, it did an unholy amount of damage, making it worth the risk. The other 2 minigames allowed you a slight expansion to either your health or power gauge. Last of the fresh ideas was the zoom function. As your characters got closer to each other, the game's camera would move in closer, creating giant on-screen characters. While admittedly a bit jarring at first, once you got used to the zoom, it became quite a dramatic battle. Even better, it allowed a better view of the game's awesome little touches of facial damage to the characters. Besides knocking off various sunglasses and leaving giant purple bruises, you could also cause King's shirt to burst open, revealing the bra that made her in fact a girl posing as a guy. 25 years after its original arcade release, Art of Fighting has aged in a curious direction. While it was never a combo-heavy or centric fighter, its limited arsenal of moves combined with a depleting energy bar had created a sort of strategy fighter. There's more back and forth, a bit more caution in the choices you make and the times you want to make it. So long as you go in looking for a tug-of-war match and not a 65-hit combo fest, you'll still find plenty of enjoyment to be had. To quote Han Solo, she may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid. When it comes to collecting for the original Art of Fighting, you do have some choices. It's available across all 3 of SNK's platforms. The game actually averages only about $45 to $100 based on condition. If you don't have a Neo-Geo system, you can find it on the Wii's Virtual Console along with the 2 sequels. PlayStation 2 owners can snag the Art of Fighting Anthology, while if you're truly old school, you can also find versions of it on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. If you're into importing old school, you'll find a surprisingly faithful, if slightly gimmicky version of it on the Turbo Duo, so long as you have the arcade card accessory. Alright guys, that wraps up another episode of Pause Mode. We'll see you next week back on the PlayStation side. Have a great weekend, and remember, play, laugh, love. We'll see you then.